just so we're on the same page and there's no. What I plan on doing is I contact the FBI, right?
Yeah.
If I can't find anybody worth his shit in the FBI, I'm going to try somebody in Homeland Security to come and talk to you. In the interim, I'm going to work on this video. The parts that I like, I'm going to cut up and put into one area, right? And then if they don't do anything with the story, with you, I'm going to do a story on it. We're not going to do anything right away because I want to give these guys an opportunity to talk to you. And if they talk to you, that's a story too, that they're talking to you and this is what happened to you. If they're not talking to you, then that's a story as well. They're not talking to you, but this is what happened to you. But if, I just want you to know that when we do a story, it'll have your name and everything. And I'm not interested in doing something any other way when it comes to this because I think that it's the best way for you to start putting blocks back on top of this. And if I can help you in any way, I will, man. I don't know how I can help you or, and if I can do anything for you, I'm happy to try to help.
Before I was taken up to the top of the boat, I was in a cabin on the outside of the boat being prostituted by my great uncle, and I was led to believe that there were several other young boys in the adjacent rooms that were going to be taken to the top of the boat one at a time, starting with me.
How old are you?
8 years old.
So you were 8 years old and all this stuff happened. When you first got on this is like a yacht situation.
Yeah, it's like a luxury cruise ship.
When you first get on the ship, what do you think is going to happen? You don't know, or?
I was just not aware. It started this activity in my life when I was 3 or 4 years old, if not earlier. So right. I just didn't question where I was or what had happened to me any of these times.
Let's go back to what you said about being prostituted.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I was put in the room, and for most of the time that I was in the room, my great uncle was standing outside the door, taking people's money and letting them in. And then when he left, his cousin was left with me. I'm not sure if his cousin was alone outside the door at any point, but he was left alone with me on one of the lower decks of the boat while my uncle went to the top.
So people would just come in and say you're 8 years old, so they take advantage of you?
Yeah.
What happens? No, it's hard to talk about, but...
Well, there were 2 beds in the room, and I remember being on one of them at first, and then I remember at least 3 of the people that came in the room, and the last person to come in the room, and the people who came in beforehand, it was rape like you would expect,
you were raped.
Insertion. Yeah.
You were raped. These are men coming in?
Yeah.
And at some point, all this happened on one yacht trip, or there were subsequent yacht trips?
This one event.
This is one event.
Yeah.
Okay. So then at some point, you are sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
What happens with that?
Well, there's a whole sequence of events leading up to when I was raped by him.
Okay, so just feel comfortable to just talk. If you want to lead up to it, that's fine.
Well, there was an incredibly violent display going on want to talk too much about that
Good.
right now, but before I was raped by Bill Clinton, my uncle held me up over his head, and his accomplice walked up and slashed across the bottom of my feet with a scimitar and collected the blood in a chalice dish like this. And he took a sip from it and then walked away through the crowd. After my uncle got bored or whatever, he held me up and tried to get Bill Clinton's attention. Bill Clinton turned around and looked like, he gave this look like, what am I going to do? I have to do it. Yeah, well, it's not a room. This is the top deck of the boat.
How many other kids your age were on it?
I only saw 2 other kids my age, and they were in different circumstances.
Meaning they weren't in as much danger, or they were in more danger, or equal danger?
On top of the boat, the only other child was a young girl I remember there being a young girl on one of the 4 podiums. There were 4 podiums like this, and then the one in the middle, not podium, pedestal. And there might have been, I think there was a teenage girl on one of them too, but the youngest girl was, I think, 6 years old. And I was the only one.
You were in a more dire situation, obviously, than they were. Yeah. Now, what happens? Why did they pick you? They parade you around or something, and they choose the kids? Is that how it happened?
They chose me years before. They chose me for various reasons. I'm sort of the runt of my family, and when I was born, I was born head first with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, with no heartbeat and no breath. They picked me because they thought that I was going to be just a failure. It is shock and awe. You need to know what else happened.
Well, I'm ready. Tell me what happened.
Okay. And then when I was taken into the ballroom, these people were marched diagonally through the room from one entrance at the other to get to the top of the boat, and they were all bleeding from their feet, and they had cuts from their chest to their abdomen. And when I was finally brought out to the top of the boat, they were all already on the ground being forced to continue having sex in their new state. There are the people, part of the display, the victims. There are 4 pedestals with women of different stages of sexual development on them, and then the middle pedestal has Bill Clinton. And I don't remember looking up, but I have found a picture of a boat that looks exactly like this one. And in this picture, this boat has a section above the top deck, which is also closed off like this one was, a section above it with windows like this, a semicircle kind of.
Yeah.
Overlooking the top deck, so there could have even been very many people that I didn't see inside the boat or on top of the boat that were up there who would come down to the top of the boat to join in the display and then go back up to watch it. But there were people, and this was something that was restricted. I know this because was one of the people doing this, and was one of the people doing this, but their associate, who I am now able to identify as my friend's father, was inquiring, like, how does he join in, or where does he get the children that these people are bringing up here? So he is part of their alliance, but he doesn't know everything that's going on.
So let me ask you one quick question, right? You're 8 years old. Somebody's going to say, how do you remember all this? You're 8 years old.
And the mind doesn't forget traumatic memories.
So over the years, how old are you now?
26.
Okay, so over that span, you replay this over in your head. Does that happen a lot of times, or little segments?
Because of because of the way that they treated me over the course of time, my memories have stayed repressed, especially after 12 years old. Before I turned 12 years old, there would be periods when I would remember things that happened to me, even if it was just a little blip or for a split second. But I wasn't able to adequately communicate what I was experiencing.
Right. Well, I mean, because of your age,
Yeah.
and also the trauma. So you say the way they've treated you since, what happened? What has happened? And what are some of the instances where you've been?
Oh, they never stopped. That was the worst experience of my life, but they never stopped kidnapping me, even as an adult.
Okay, so you're an adult, right? Are you talking about after 18?
Yeah, I mean, I said after I turned 12, I didn't have any inkling of what was going on anymore. Things were still going on. Things went on consistently over the course of my whole life. Other than that, when I was in high school, it was a little bit different and less common.
Okay, so what's on the list here? What do you got?
So, things they did to make me forget. They treated me as a prop in many circumstances, including for child pornography. But an example of something where I was used as a prop that was not specifically for pornographic reasons is I was taken to the apartment of these professional people, maybe they're attorneys or accountants, something like that. And this is with and his associate, whose last name I don't know, but I know the approximate location of one of his properties that I'm hoping to find in the near future. And this is incredibly bizarre because it doesn't include any of the normal elements of, it does include the normal elements of blackmail and targeted child abuse, but it's much more like being used as a prop outside of the context of pornography. They were in bed and came into the apartment and approached them and put me in their bed and told them to have sex with me in their bed. And then when they started to comply, they were told, oh no, don't have sex together, have sex with the child in your bed. And
How old were you then at this point?
I think this may have been before the Newport Boat Show. I think I might have been 7 years old. I might have also been 9 years old. It could have been after, but it was around that time. And as an example other types of abuse that the trauma becomes spread among. So I was put in their bed, and then before I was taken back out, showed the couple a device in their closet that looks like an intercom that he said was recording them, and I don't think he said that it goes to a central location wirelessly, but asked me, he said, "You're a smart kid, you know what we're gonna have instead of this in the future." And I didn't say anything because I didn't even know what was going on. He said, "Yeah, that's right, computers." And then before leaving entirely, went in the bathroom, picked up a tile from the bathroom floor, and underneath it there was a vial of blood. Puts the tile back, holds the vial of blood up to show the couple, and says, "You're going to be involved in a criminal case pretty soon."
Okay, so let's get back to the way you were treated after the Clinton episode. Was it Clinton that was the only really you said Bill Clinton sexually assaulted you.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one time on this boat trip.
This is the only time that I saw Bill Clinton.
Okay. And he sodomized you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess a question I would want to know is, have you tried to reach out to him, his lawyers, or I mean, I guess in your current state, it doesn't seem like something you would be like in your face type guy because you're still dealing with these things.
Yeah.
So, have you reached out to them? Have you thought about it? Have you? No. Okay. It's just a question I think is pertinent. Although I think I got the answer to it beforehand, but I just wanted to hear from you. So, you're on the boat. This happens. Afterwards, you're mistreated, and you said they kidnapped you again.
So I have been kidnapped dozens and dozens of times. When I was a child, on the weekends, I was left with my great-grandmother, who was an elderly woman who was not adequately able to defend me. And I was also left with my half-brother's family, which is, people will call them a foster family, even though they're not really. They walked in the front door, they walked up the stairs into my room, they put laughing gas up to my face, and they dragged me out.
Okay, so they drugged you.
Yeah.
Drug you. I didn't know that.
Chloroform and ether, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, surprise, and then you wake up somewhere else. Is that?
I wouldn't say I wake up. I mean, being drugged, it's not like being asleep. It's like,
You say it's more like a dream haze, something like that?
it feels physically like not being able to breathe completely, and mentally, at least because of what they've done to me, it is like a dream. Like the feeling that I have when I would feel my own presence in these circumstances would be the feeling of, oh, let me turn over and go back to sleep.
Okay, so let's go way back. You're 8 years old, okay? So, how
Can you get the peanuts for me? I'm starting to feel.
do you want me to wait till she comes back?
No, it's okay.
How does your mom, your dad are in the picture, and then they entrust you to this uncle? Is that what goes?
No. So I have lived with my mother and my stepfather since I was 5. My father was never in my life except when he would take care of me as a toddler with his girlfriend, my half-brother's mother. And actually the first time that I remember being raped, at least as in sodomy, was condoned by him. I was raped by tracked me down to interrupt initiation rites for me, and he offered my father and his girlfriend a large amount of cocaine. What they do is they have a big mirror and they put a huge amount of cocaine on a mirror, and they have this impression like, oh, take whatever you want, it's all yours, how much can one person do? And then when they leave, they take the mirror and they put it in a Ziploc bag and walk out.
Walk out.
Yeah.
They don't get to, you don't get to keep the stash.
Yeah.
It's all just smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's what you meant when you went, take care.
Yeah.
I saw my father a handful of times outside of this.
This is your biological father.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and your mom, your biological mom, then has a new husband.
She's not married, but she never married either of them. But I
Okay,
consider
so
her
you're
stepfather.
same stepfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
By relationship. Okay.
So then, there's no real parental people around to say, "Hey, the fuck are you doing?" You know what I mean? What are you doing with this kid? What's going on? Why?
Well, I was left with my great grandmother and with
Right.
my half brother's family, and in all reality, my mother should have known what was wrong with my half brother's house, despite what was going on, just because of the incredibly strange living arrangements and the older kid's father never leaving his room and whatnot, and all of the layaway that that woman would do, thousands of dollars of stuff on layaway. But she would never ever suspect my great grandmother of condoning anything like that, and she never realized that something worse than what she was aware of was going on. She kind of thought that I was just sad and detached from being made fun of at school.
We're gonna jump around a little bit, because I think it's important to get you away from a lot of these. You know, I mean, you're retelling a story, and you have to drudge all this stuff up, and we're going downhill. We're just gonna keep going downhill. So, if I mix it up, it's only because I want to kind of pull you back a little bit. But so you have all this stuff going on since you were younger. Now you're 26. I would imagine that it's hard sometimes to sleep, things like that. There's a lot of stuff on your mind and a lot of trust issues and fear and paranoia and things like that, which really aren't unfounded. I mean, paranoia is if you're afraid something's going to happen when there's no basis of reality that something's going to happen. But people come to your house in the middle of the night since you were a kid. How do you sleep?
I have a lot of trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
I smoke cannabis to sleep too,
Yeah.
which helps sometimes.
You look at me like I was supposed to judge you on that or something?
No.
You're waiting for me to say like, yeah. You're like,
There's a little pause there, like,
I was about to pause. I was pausing. I was about to say, but even still, a lot of the time I'm up until 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and the cannabis does not help, and it makes me a little more wound up in some circumstances.
so then you fall asleep and then you sleep to the day?
that what happens?
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing with yourself now? Do you work? You don't work. So you're living at home?
Yeah. Focusing on my health
You're just trying to put your life together.
Yeah.
And is there any point where your mom stood up and said, let's go talk to the police? Let's go talk to the FBI? Or anything like that?
No, she had a hard time coming to understand this, and then by the time she acknowledged that this is reality, I had been making some moves on my own. I mean, she has told me that I should contact the police. She doesn't really encourage me to, but I think she is afraid to.
Well, it's complicated as a parent. She may feel failure, things on top of. I think kids always think that parents should have their best interest in mind, but some parents don't. And she might be dealing with her own feelings. What happens if the FBI contacts you? You sit down with them?
Like, if you contact them and they contact me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's important. You have to be able to get in the right mind frame to talk to these guys. I don't think they're going to beat, harass you or anything. I think most of the agents I've dealt with are very down to earth, and they want to know what happened. I have a photographic memory, so I don't need to take notes. This is a gift I have. It was easy to go to school and things like that for me. But they might be a little bit more studious, taking notes and going back, boom, 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 and you might find yourself 4 hours, 5 hours in, to an interview. So I would be prepared for that, physically, and it's important to know these things. People say, "Oh, I'm going to be interviewed," and then they're sitting there and they're thinking, "Jesus, when is this going to end?"
Yeah.
These people keep going and they keep asking questions, and I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I didn't plan on this, or I planned on doing something after this.
Right.
And then you have that in your head, right? That I just want to get the hell out of here because I have something else to do.
Yeah.
When you should probably be just focused on that. So it's just throwing that out there. A couple things in my
Physical
head.
preparation and even emotional preparation. Right?
Yeah. Like,
have support.
and know when your best time of day is, and work around that. Don't work around theirs. If your best time of day is, hey, I like to sleep through the day, and I get up at 3, and that's when I feel like I'm at my best, then that's when we're going to start. We're not going to come in, or you can't come talk to me at 10 a.m. That's when I'm sleeping, and I can't. To know yourself, if you'll be able to sleep the night before, something like that, or if you be ramped up and whatever. But
And you can also have I've talked to him a lot about control, right? Because that's really important when you're traumatized. Like him being able to say, if someone wants to talk to him, like, I need, someone else to be not necessarily here inside the room, but someone here, supportive people around. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't just show up and knock at the door and say, we're going to do this now.
yeah, I mean, I think that's important. And
Right.
you might get people who want to rock and roll. They show up and they want to rock and roll,
Yeah.
but it's more a process. They will call you on the phone, I think, and it's more of a process.
Yeah.
If they do the other thing and they show up, I wouldn't talk to them.
Yes.
You're not going to get a fair shake anyhow. Need somebody who's going to be an agent or agents who are going to be empathetic. And if I were you, I wouldn't read too much into them or try to study them. They're all pretty cut from the same mold, so to speak. The question is, are they going to do anything with the information you give them? And that remains to be seen. If they talk to you, then it's hard to say. But I think for you, you're 26, I have a 23-year-old. So I would be thinking, like, if you were my son, right? What I would want for you would just be closure. You can walk away from this and say, I need to put the rest of my life together. I got another 50 years, I got another 55 years. I want to try to live normally. And the way to do that is that's what you're doing right now. It takes a lot of guts. A lot of guts. So if you didn't think you had any guts,
I told him.
you're mistaken. It takes a big heart and a lot of balls to sit here. It really does. And, I don't know where it's going, but we'll see what we can get going for you. You don't need to sit here and give me every detail. It's not. I'm not some prosecutor, and I'm not gonna publish every little thing about your life and make you look like a jerk. It's not. Some people might, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to be careful. But
That's why I talked to you or asked you.
well, I mean, the important thing is that you get this behind you and you just try to take a real negative and make it into a positive somehow. You have the strength. I mean, you're sitting here, so and you survive. That's something else to say about being survive something like this is really. You talk about marijuana, things like that. That's nothing. You know, most people would turn to much harder stuff, and you can't last. I mean, marijuana is one thing, but you can't last. Heroin, things like that, you're just not going to make it. And you've already thrown in the towel at that point. So, one, you got to make sure these people don't come around again. And two, you have to put them on notice that you're not going to come around again because you're not going to be abused. And three, you have to stand up for yourself. And those three things are a great foundation to try to rebuild your life, I think. If they're handled properly. And hopefully the FBI does something. They come in and they talk to you. You know, you have a lot of details. If you were making shit up, you'd be able to sniff it out in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But you have details. That's a problem.
Right.
For somebody like Bill Clinton, for somebody like other people that, it's a problem when somebody tells a story and they have details. So